Happy Monday morning, everybody. Welcome back. This video is not going to be relevant to about probably a good 3/4 of you that are going to be watching this, but I wanted to make it because I made a Tarrasque video, Shrine of Storms, very early when I couldn't complete the dungeon. So I want to kind of finish this off. I want to finish the circle and round it off and complete the whole shebang. So in that video, I showed you a free-to-play team that could do up to Shrine of Storms 7, which is important because at 7 is when you finally get the legendary Relic Awakening Crystals. You know, this dungeon is probably going to be one of the ones you run the least, just because you get your gold from Gorgos, you get your advancement materials from Penvid, and then you get your relic leveling materials from Aldry. This kind of seems to be the last thing, the last little icing on the cake that you look for, you're going to go for when you try to finish off or develop your heroes. So if we go over to this page, I'm going to talk about the team that I showed. I did not show this exact team though, and that's a problem. So if you're a free to play, I'm gonna discuss free to play very briefly. This guide is linked in the description. It's my King Arthur spreadsheet. So this team right here, free to play with Alan, an uncommon, will get you down to 8. It'll easily get you to 8, no problem. You know, Sarah is very useful because she applies the attack gauge disruption buff, which you need, in my opinion, on this. Well, you don't need, but it makes this fight much more easy. Ban is a damage dealer, but he also reduces attack gauge, so he's good. And then Morgan is an AoE attack gauge stripper, and Alan is basically a free-to-play Claudius. Claudius, right here. Claudius, right? And this team will get you up to 8, no problem. It's going to be slow, though, because Alan, he doesn't do a lot of damage. You're going to be relying on Ban and Morgan. And then this is the team I was using. Morgan, Claudius, Sergius, and Sarah. Sarah, again, to apply attack gauge disruption. Fire Sergius to be a turn meter battery. Claudius and Morgan, AoE damage dealers and AoE attack gauge disruptors. Okay? But that team was very, very, very slow. Very, very slow. Very slow. It was like a 6-minute fight. As you can see from my Shrine of Storms 9, 6 minutes and 8 seconds. It was painful. Painful to sit there and do multiple runs of this, even though 6 minutes isn't that long in the grand scheme of things. But I finally tweaked a team that, I'm not going to lie, it's pay to win. It's fairly pay to win. Or it's not, I shouldn't say pay to win, it's not easily free to play accessible. Yes, Fire Sergius is free to play, but it takes time. Fire Merlin is luck of the draw. First you got to get Merlin, then you got to get the relic. Luck of the draw, and then just to get Bedivere is luck of the draw. And my Bedivere is C10. He's maxed out. So let's briefly discuss Tarrasque, the boss. Okay? So these are the heroes they want you to bring, but we're not going to look at that. I want to look at this. So the main things is this left arm. You got to either control the turn meter on this left arm, or you have to apply an attack gauge disruption debuff on the boss. Otherwise, as you see right there, recharges Tarrasque's attack gauge by 60%. And this kitty at level 10, he's just hits so hard. He just hits so hard. And then Tarrasque himself, he does all these bad things, right? So the main mechanic is don't let him take a turn and either control this arm's turn meter or bring someone that can apply attack gauge disruption on the boss that makes it so that this arm does nothing. Basically, it's going to go and do nothing because it's not going to feed any turn meter. And you have to control this arm because this arm is going to hurt and it's going to give Tarrasque some bad stuff, right? Triggers Beastly Frenzy. What is that? Attacks one enemy 3 times. Like it's this arm sucks. But for some reason, this arm is easily controllable through turn meter manipulation. This one tends to be a little bit more resistant. So here's a team that I bring that can get me, what is the time? 1 minute. And this team is in and of itself, take your time, Dialer. It's still not up to snuff. So the real key on this fight, the big key, is if you have like a C9 Morgan. If you have a C9 Morgan with all that extra attack speed, and you have her built really fast, then she can just sit there and spam S2 enough that the boss just doesn't take a turn. So if you ever hear someone be like, and I know I've heard it from other people, oh, I just bring in Morgan and Bedivere and like 2 random people and we just nuke it down. Yes, they're right. They do that, but what they don't say is they have like a C9 Morgan or a very, very, very like blisteringly fast Morgan, which is, it's hard to get, because crafting the best gear is not easy. And I know I'm portraying you a team that, again, not easy to get, but I just want to show it to you because a lot of people are probably just going to be indifferent to Tarrasque. They're gonna just probably farm level 7 or level 8 and just be content with only doing that. And you're honestly, it is wasting stamina if you just giving up on the higher levels. And the higher levels are going to give you better materials. So just to finish off my whole Tarrasque dungeon series, I'm showing this, and I'll leave the chips lie where they may. You guys decide if you want to pursue it or not, because it's also not a manual or not an automatic fight. It's almost automatic, and it's not 100% consistent either. The key is Fire Merlin. Why? Because on his S3, he lands Attack Gauge Disruption. So what that means is, and it's an AoE, so he's going to put it on the boss, he's going to put it on both arms. So that left arm that gives attack gauge, 60% attack gauge to Tarrasque, doesn't matter if it goes, you can always just refresh this S3 and not worry about it. It's not going to do, it's basically irrelevant. So the only attack gauge disruptor, though, that I have is Morgan. I'm not bringing in 2. Claudius was nice because she did an AoE attack gauge disruption, but it didn't. If you were just spamming her S2, it wasn't consistent enough, and it didn't do well. It was consistent. Sorry, it was consistent, but it didn't do enough damage. It still made the fight really slow. So I've had people say, "Well, you want to spam the S1." Yes, the S1 goes more often, does more damage, lets you go faster, but. Then, if you don't have a fast enough Morgan, the other arms are going to go, and you're going to get screwed. So this comp does multiple things. Bedivere is here just to kill the boss as fast as possible. Sergius, Fire, here to apply a lot of attack gauge disruption. Morgan is your only attack gauge stripper. Attack gauge battery. But then Merlin is a jack of 2 trades. You want to apply this first. So basically, him doing one move and only doing it once, his S3 once, is accomplishing what Sarah brought to the whole fight. So you're in one move, you're basically eliminating the need to bring Sarah. Then you're going to switch to your S2 on Merlin. Because it's an AoE, well, it's not an AoE attack, it's a multi-hit. So you're going to be doing more damage. And then it puts this Phoenix Ashes on it, which heals your attackers, or heals your team. 100% chance to grant attack increase 1 for 1 turn, but that's okay, because it's going to keep refreshing. So they're inherently going to be faster. And an almost 100% chance to recharge your hero's attack gauge by 30%. So Merlin facilitates a lot of speed. Morgan's your attack gauge stripper. Bedivere's your damage nuker. Fire Sergius is going to be applying, or not applying, he's going to be giving your team a turn meter or attack gauge. So let's roll this through. And now keep in mind as well, this is not This is not automatic. I can lose this fight depending on RNG or if Betty just misses over and over and over and over again. All right, now that I've preambled on for 10 minutes, let's go into this. So I'll show you what's going on. First of all, I want to switch this up before the kitty's going to go first, but so we're going to switch this up. We're going to apply this, which is going to apply the attack gauge disruption from Merlin. And then obviously 3-1 for Surge, 2, and then 1 for Betty, 2 and 1 for Morgan. So yes, whack. We applied that. Morgan goes. Surge is really fast. And there we go. Now we got the attack gauge disruption up. We will show you that. But now we want to flip this to this. And then I'm going to show you exactly what Merlin just did. So there we go. We got attack gauge disruption on the boss, which means skills cannot increase this character's attack gauge. Meaning this arm is doing nothing. But you see, you did have to manual that fight. Now, it's all about, can Bedivere not miss and just nuke the boss down? So I want you to kind of watch the attack gauge on this arm, because we are relying strictly on Morgan to strip it. So she's going to go right now. It's almost full. And that's what I was saying. If you had a faster Morgan, this would be more consistent. So you see, that arm did go. Oh, this is not the screen I wanted. The left arm did take a turn, because you see the attack gauge disruption is now no longer 2, it's 1. For some reason, you can strip the turn meter more easily from this guy than this guy. And I don't know why he has frozen remain. Oh yeah, because it's randomly applied. Uh-oh, I think they're not attacking the boss. Oh no, Phoenix Ashes, there we go, we're good. So that arm did take a turn. So you do kind of have to nuke him down before this arm gets another turn. But it can get one more, because the attack gauge disruption debuff lasts for 2 turns. But then if you have to, you could apply it again with Merlin. But then you're missing out on some extra attack speed. So the boss just took a turn there. He usually shouldn't, but he did. And this is another point that I gotta say, is you see how close to death my Bedivere is? That's the reason why I'm running Merlin in the leader slot, because the Merlin in the leader slot decreases damage by 10%. If I had a less well-developed Bedivere, I'd be dead. So now you see the left arm did take another turn, and the attack gauge disruption is off it, but that doesn't really matter. That matters, because Tarrasque still has it. So now I'm going to reset this, because that's where it's a little bit RNG. It's not consistent. But when it's consistent, and when I'm not like clicking out over and over and over again. Alright. It's faster. Okay, skill order. Yeah. 1. Okay, and target boss. So as soon as Merlin goes, there it is. Now we'll flip it back. And I'm not going to pause it this time, because you guys have kind of seen the fight. We'll just ride her through. See, I screwed up there, because what I really got to do is, because you see how Morgan, you can't see it, but the other arm has the Morgan debuffs. Because I wasn't targeting the boss. So I'm going to come out of here. Because this is why I always recommend you do this. You always go repeat battle, then 1. So then they're always, no matter what, going to be targeting the boss. Right? So this is how I would do it normally if I wasn't just making a video. Whack, big hits. That goes on there. Morgan goes. Merlin goes. Now we got all of the decreased defense debuffs and the damage taken up debuffs on the boss. Flip that to 2. And now Bedivere is going to do a lot more damage. That last run was screwed up. So I'm kind of watching this arm as well as this arm, because again, I'm relying on Morgan's attack gauge stripping only to deal with the right arm and the left arm. The boss itself, you don't really have to worry about. You can always keep it like under control as long as you have that attack gauge disruption debuff on it. But it's really, if the right arm goes, he's going to kill me. If the left arm goes, nothing's going to happen. And with Morgan just being my only attack gauge stripper, if she misses that arm, the right arm, then you're going to see like Bedivere die like he did in the last video. So I think this is going to be fine. There is going to be a point though where Sergius will not do his S3. But here we go. This is the typical run. So without me talking, targeting the boss, look at it was what? How long was that? 1 minute, 14 seconds. Done. Done. Is that the cleanest of fights? No. No. But without me, you know, coming in and out, showing you the debuffs, talking about things, I can do like 4 of these using this team in the same span that I would doing 1 on auto. So, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Not the cleanest video, but I like to show things dirty. Why? Because dirty is how it goes in real life. Like I've said in other videos, I don't record like that blast run. I could have pre-recorded it and then just pulled that up and used that as an example of, look at this team, so good. It just mowed him down. Real life's not that clean. So that's going to be my capstone to Tarrasque. Tarrasque 10, a team that the majority of you are never going to use. Well, at least not this early in the game's release. But there it is. It's out there. It's on the internet now forever. People can refer back to this, but I'm sure there'll be another hero that comes out that suits this battle perfectly and makes it really easy. Because up until now, I would say that Tarrasque 10 is probably the hardest fight in the game. Probably the hardest fight in the game. So, tell me what you think down in the comment section below. Oh, word of the day. Word of the day. Dirty. Because I'm not going to say it. Dirty is the comment, the word of the day. Put that down below, and it'll let me know that you made it to the end of the video. All the good links are in the description of this video. Click on them all. They have good things. They take you good places. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, cheers, peace. Bye-bye.